Welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you news from the City Council, Ridgecrest Police Department, Sheriff's Department, Sacramento, gas prices, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Thanks for joining us for the news. I'm Tom Wicknick. Here's news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. In news from the Ridgecrest Police Department, they have announced that the suspect in the murder shooting in Ridgecrest has turned himself in. Pedro Garcia Ortiz, 32, turned himself in to the Kern County Sheriff's Department in Bakersfield at about 12:30 a.m. on Thursday. He was the suspect in the shooting death of Daniel Olivas last month. He is being held on charges of first-degree murder, possession of ammunition by a felon, and possession of a firearm by a felon. All these charges are felonies. He is being held with no bail. The charges resulted from when Ortiz shot Olivas in Ridgecrest on August 11th at about 1 a.m. The shooting took place in the 200 block of South Silver Ridge. Olivas died the next day at Antelope Valley Hospital. Cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds. Ortiz has his first hearing set for Tuesday, September 8th at 3 p.m. in the Metro Division Court in Bakersfield. In news from the Kern County Sheriff's Department, we have received this report from them concerning the officer-involved shooting in Inyokern last month. On September 3, 2015, the Kern County Sheriff's Office Incident Review Board convened to consider the use of force by Deputy James Perry and Deputy Kevin Parsons in relation to an officer-involved shooting which occurred on August 15, 2015 in Inyokern. The review board consisted of Chief Deputy Kevin Zimmerman, Chief Deputy Brian Wheeler, and Chief Deputy Curtis Cornelison. The shooting culminated a long 20-day manhunt for Benjamin Ashley. The manhunt involved support from police departments from all over the area. He was the main suspect of a kidnapping, a murder, and the shooting of 2 sheriff's SWAT deputies, along with other lesser crimes. He was ultimately recognized by the store manager in Inyokern, where he was buying food supplies. The store manager called the sheriff's department. Officers arrived shortly thereafter and confronted Ashley behind the store. After Ashley refused the officer's commands, he brandished a handgun and pointed it at the deputies. The deputies, knowing this suspect was wanted for murder, opened fire. After a review of all the facts in this case, the Incident Review Board determined the use of force by the deputies was within Sheriff's Office policy. Ashley was hit and died at the scene, so the shooting of Benjamin Ashley after a 20-day manhunt was justified. Our hats goes off to these fine deputies. In news from Sacramento, Jean Fuller announced that her bill, SB 111, has received final approval from the State Senate and Assembly and has been forwarded to the governor for signature. The bill requires the State Finance Department for Schools to help with finding and allotting the necessary matching funds for school construction at military locations in California. In 2012, the federal government passed a bill providing $240 million for school construction sites on military property. Sierra Sands School District has 2 schools getting funding with these federal funds. A whole new Monroe School is approved for almost $40 million, and Burroughs remodeling is approved for about $32 million. The school district has to provide a 20% match to get the funds. SB 111 orders the Department of Finance to help the school district find those funds. In city news, City Manager Dennis Spear announced at last Wednesday's council meeting that there has been a resignation from the Measure L Committee. Scott Garver, the current chairman of the committee, has resigned. Scott is also a local deputy district attorney. As a result of his resignation, the council will take applications from interested people. So if anyone is interested in serving on the Measure L committee, they need to file an application with the city clerk right away. The deadline to file an application is September 11th. Applications can be obtained by going to the city's website. And applications can be mailed in, faxed to 760-499-1520, or hand-carried into the city clerk's office. The council desires to appoint a new person at their next meeting. Mayor Pro Tem Sanders will review the applications and come back to the council with his recommendation. The council will then make the appointment. Now with some interesting news from Caltrans, we get this story. You all know that Caltrans is responsible for building and maintaining all the state's highways. So, here's an idea on a bridge they are thinking about building. P-32 was a mountain lion. P-32's memory lives on as to a proposal to build a landscape bridge over the 101 freeway in Agoura Hills. P-32 was a rogue mountain lion that died crossing Interstate 5 last month. State agency officials and wildlife advocates have all called for the project as it would provide a vital link between a habitat fragmented by development. The National Park Service has tracked mountain lions in the Santa Monica Mountains since 2002. Since then, motorists have struck and killed a dozen of them. A report published Wednesday by Caltrans and the Mountain Recreation and Conservation Authority concluded that the overpass was feasible and would cost between $33 and $38 million. Liberty Canyon is considered to be the optimal location for the overpass. Wildlife overpasses are popular elsewhere in the world and can help a wide variety of animals ranging from bears to crabs. $33 to $38 million for a wildlife crossing bridge. I'm curious how they can make sure all wildlife in that area knows there's a crossing bridge and will use it. I suppose they can put up signs informing wildlife to use the bridge, and maybe even have security out there to write the wildlife citation if they don't use the bridge. And then P-32 was described as a rogue mountain lion. How do they propose to make sure rogue wildlife uses the bridge? Here in our area, we have had numerous accidents on Route 395 where people have been killed, and they won't fund this route. But they have the audacity to consider funding $33 to $38 million for a wildlife crossing bridge. Now stay tuned. When we come back, we'll talk about the Ridgecrest City Council. Well, at Wednesday's City Council meeting, they handled the following items. For presentations, they presented a proclamation to the Daughters of the American Revolution, Panama Springs chapter, recognizing September 17th through 23rd, 2015 as Constitution Week. Next was the announcement from the City of Ridgecrest Economic Development Director, Gary Parsons, that the Super Walmart was actually going to start construction in 30 to 60 days. So after 13 years, it looks like this is actually going to happen. There were numerous items on the consent calendar, but just about all of them were removed from consent only. They wanted open discussion on these topics. The council awarded a construction contract to Griffith Company for the construction of street improvements to existing roadways, which include Richmond Road between Upjohn and East Ridgecrest Boulevard, Bowman Road between Downs and Primrose, and West Raider between Nevada Court and South Downs. The cost of this contract is about $900,000. Then they awarded a design and construction management contract to Wildan Engineering for a CDBG project for ADA ramps at various intersections. The project will consist of the construction of curb return ramps in the area bound by Balsam Street, Costa Street, North Helena Street, and Station Street. It is proposed to design and construct 15 curb ramps within that area to bring them up to ADA compliance. The estimated cost for this contract is $15,000. Next, they authorized the filing of an application for Regional Surface Transportation Project funding for about $670,000 in funding for the widening of Down Street between Ridgecrest Boulevard and Upjohn from 2 lanes to 4 lanes. Then they approved the filing of an application for Congestion Mitigation Air Quality funding. The application will be for over $1 million in funding for 3 projects: paving Sunland Street, a dirt road, from Bowman to Dolphin Avenue, paving the dirt road on the north half of Tamarisk Avenue from Inyo Street to Capehart Court, paving the shoulder on the south side of West Raider Avenue from Down Street to Sunset. Then they considered approving a resolution instating a hiring freeze for the remainder of the fiscal year 2015-16. After a lengthy discussion and comments from the public, the item was tabled for now. Then they approved the expenditure of Parks and Recreation impact fees in the amount of $32,000. This is to repair an existing water well in the Jackson Park. Then they considered approving a resolution for the reallocation of $350,000 of tax allocation funds from the economic development allocation to public works street improvements. This is necessary as the council did budget shifts at their last meeting to cover a $750,000 budget deficit. Ultimately, they transferred TAB funds from the unallocated portion for specific projects on the TAB funds, instead of from the economic development allotment of TAB funds. Next, the council held a discussion considering changing the agenda format for city council meetings. At the last council meeting, the mayor indicated a concern regarding the placement of certain actions on the agenda. This item allows the council to discuss the current agenda format, consider appropriate changes, and revise the format to address any concerns. The main concern pointed out by Mayor Breeden was that she didn't like that council comment was at the end of the meeting. This is when the council often makes replies to people's comments and makes announcements as to things that are going on. They decided to move presentations up on the agenda before public comment and to add a council announcement segment right after public comment, but still leaving the council comment section at the end of the meeting as it is now. And the final agenda item was to reconsider potential funding of $8,000 to the Petroglyph Festival, plus in-kind donations. At the last meeting, the council approved the in-kind donation, but did not approve the $8,000 in cash. In a surprise announcement, the RACVB announced that they have withdrawn their request for the $8,000 in cash. Due to the city's new money crunch situation, they felt they would have to withdraw the request. However, if they still wanted to award the $8,000, they would sure appreciate it. The RACVB assured them that the Petroglyph Festival would go on without the $8,000. The council found this very appreciative. After a fair discussion, the council voted 3-2 to allot the $8,000 anyway. In local parade news, remember that tomorrow, Saturday at 9 a.m., there will be the Parade of 1,000 Flags. This parade is in remembrance of the attacks on the Twin Towers in New York on September 11, 2001. It has been announced that Congressman Kevin McCarthy will serve as the Grand Marshal and give a speech at the Freedom Park. The parade route starts at the bowling alley on South China Boulevard. Flag bearers should be in position at 8:30 a.m. The parade leaves there at 9 a.m. and goes north along China Lake Boulevard and then turns into the City Hall Center and then into Freedom Park. If anyone still wants to volunteer to carry flags, call the News Review right away. Call them at 760-371-4301. And you might even want to just show up out there tomorrow morning if you want to. They might have a flag available for you. All the flags will be posted for 1 week. In conjunction with this parade, there is on display at the Kerr-McGee Center the Remembrance of the Fallen Wall. This wall is in recognition of all the fallen soldiers from the state of California since 9/11. Remembering Our Fallen Wall is on display now and goes to September 12th at the Kerr-McGee Center at 100 East California Avenue in Ridgecrest. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 to 9. Saturdays, 8 to 9, and Sunday, 10 to 5. There's no admission charge. Plan on attending the parade or stop by with the family anytime next week to observe what Freedom Park looks like with 1,000 flags blowing in the breeze. It truly is inspiring. Now, in KZGN's continuous effort to provide news and information you've asked for, here are today's gas prices for Ridgecrest and some surrounding areas. Well, since my last report on Wednesday, gas prices continue a slow decrease. Ridgecrest's lowest price fell another 4 cents since Wednesday. As of this morning, Ridgecrest is ranging from $3.19 to $3.69, Lancaster from $3.19 to $3.79, the LA Valley area $3.27 to $3.55, and the Bishop area $3.72 to $3.89. We have 4 stations coming in at the $3.19 figure. Tune in Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for updates. We at KZGN always suggest you shop locally to support our local economy. Remember, when you penny sales tax out of town, you are helping those cities pave their streets instead of here. Stay tuned for weather and sports after the break. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Keith with the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, showers and thunderstorms are expected across parts of the upper Midwest. Heavy rainfall could lead to isolated flash flooding across parts of the upper Midwest, the Four Corners region, and also parts of the desert Southwest. Temperatures across the nation. Carolinas came in at 84, Georgia 83, Arkansas 86, Colorado 65, Arizona 79, and Los Angeles came in at 69. For our forecast here in the IWV, tonight mostly clear with a low around 62, west-southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. On Saturday, it'll be sunny with a high near 91, south-southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusts as high as 25. Saturday night, mostly clear with a low around 57, southwest wind 15 to 20 miles per hour. Sunday, sunny with a high near 96, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Sunday night, mostly clear with a low around 61, west-northwest wind 5 miles per hour. And on Labor Day, sunny with a high near 97, west-northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Monday night, mostly clear with a low around 61, west-southwest wind 5 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. On Tuesday, it'll be sunny with a high near 98, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Tuesday night, mostly clear with a low around 63, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. And on Wednesday, sunny with a high near 99, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. The record high for today was set in 1988 at 109 degrees. The record low was set in 1985 at 55 degrees. And as a look at your local forecast with the IWV, now back to Tom and the rest of the KZGN News.
Thanks, Keith. And now Tom Heck with sports.
And a very pleasant Friday afternoon to everyone. Let's start with Burroughs football tonight at Tehachapi. Game time 7:30 Central Section game. The Burros are going to try to keep the ground game of Tehachapi under control. That was Todd Mather's message last night. Again, no turnovers, and it's important that Burros can move the football offensively. Tehachapi, a very ground-oriented, wind and grind type program. Steve Denman, their head coach, he's been there 27 years. The team is 1-0. They defeated Foothill last week, did Tehachapi. So Burroughs, who played very well against a very tough Palmdale team, losing 14-6, will be in for a very good battle tonight on the mountain. JV games at 5:30. Yesterday, the freshman team of Burroughs lost a heartbreaker 19-17 to Tehachapi at Tehachapi. Burroughs had a chance for a 2-point conversion last play of the game and was stopped right at the goal line. All right, volleyball over at Burroughs. They defeat Rosamond 3 straight sets yesterday. Michelle Lazaro and crew now 2-0 on the season. And Saracoso volleyball will take to the road. They'll play Imperial Valley in a tournament tomorrow down in El Centro. All right, let's take a look at Major League Baseball. Boy, it's winding down. The Dodgers drop a 10-7 game to San Diego last night. Same two teams play tonight down in San Diego. The Angels will start a 3-game series with Texas, crucial series. The Angels trail the Rangers by 3.5 games. The Rangers only 2 games behind Houston for first place. Angels in third place. So crucial wild card also on the line. The Twins lose to the White Sox. The Twins, the other wild card team, battling for position. All right, let's talk about the U.S. Open. Roger Federer, he wins easily in 3 straight sets. And what about Deflategate? Tom Brady. Can you believe it? The judge ruled, and he sided with Tom Brady. The NFL had no concrete evidence that Tom Brady had pre-knowledge of the Deflategate football situation. So he's off the hook. He'll play the first 4 games. NFL, of course, not happy. They have the right to appeal if they decide to do that. All right, let's talk about, lastly, college football. Big weekend. We'll have a whole rundown Monday on the scoreboard. UCLA plays Virginia this week. USC has a marshmallow in Arkansas State. And last night, the debut of Jim Harbaugh didn't go so well. Michigan lost a very tough game to Utah. The Utah defense just stifling. Michigan scored towards the end of the game to make it interesting. Final score 24-17. Utah, they win in Salt Lake City. All right, that's your sports for this Friday afternoon. Don't forget Burroughs football tonight. If you can't get out to the game on the mountain in Tehachapi, you can tune in. KLOA 1240. Game will be on at 7:30 or close to it. As a JV game proceeds it could run over just a little bit time-wise. Have a good weekend. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. Office at KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. And stay with us, for up next is Ridgecrest Talk.